Welcome back to another garden update. This video is for the 6 people that actually care about my garden. I appreciate you so much. And because you're so dedicated, I'm making this video when in reality, I don't even want to make it. And the reason is because right now my garden sucks bad. It is just, everything is dying. It's been so dry. It's just not good. And it's so much more fun to make these videos when everything is just going crazy and I can show you all the amazing things. But in this case, it's just not going to be that. But because you are dedicated and you're watching this video, I'm going to make it for you. So let's take a look at the next garden update. I think I left off in the last episode wondering whether some things were going to survive or not. And I'm unhappy to report my first casualty right here, my zucchini. That's what's left of it. It didn't survive, didn't make it. So no zucchini for us this year. In fact, there's the tag right there. It's a goner. Fortunately, my little cucumber is doing well. And we'll move over here. We got ourselves a tomato plant, which is drying up quite a bit here. But if you want to look at the bright side, look at all those tomatoes in there. Cody actually picked a bunch today. She said she picked 5 tomatoes out here. I'm not sure off of which plant, but we got some good ones in there. Got some little ones that are coming out here. So this plant, I'm going to chalk this one up as doing okay. When you got new stuff growing, some old stuff dying, I think we're okay there. And speaking of okay, see, this isn't all negative. Look at this cucumber plant. Remember when I planted this thing and how small it was? Well, it's doing exactly what I had hoped, and it's growing up this little trellis thing here. And I've got all kinds of flowers that are budding on there, and those are eventually going to be cucumbers, right, Mellow Cat? More bad news. Check out the peas. It's just too dry out here. They're all dying off. We did eat some of these peas, and there are some growing in the pods here. Before the rain really hit here in the last couple weeks, things have been so dry, and the peas were a casualty. The pepper plants, actually doing pretty well. These things have survived through everything. You got a flower growing on there, so you're gonna have some more peppers. These peppers we haven't picked at all, and check this out, they're actually turning red. They're supposed to be yellow peppers. But if you're looking for color, moving on over to the orange peppers, check that out. Got a nice orange pepper right there. Got a green one right beside it that's turning orange. Got a Mellow Cat walking through. These are onions, which are doing well. I'm not gonna pick these out for quite a while. I like to let those grow a little bigger. This pepper plant here, it's not doing great. We got a couple flower growing on there, and then there's a couple peppers on it, but not a whole lot. This one, surprisingly, right now is just starting to do well. It's so late in the season, but look at all the flowers that are starting to pop out on there, and every one of those flowers is eventually going to be a pepper. So got a little one growing there. These things just started taking off. I don't know what it was, why it took so long, but it's just starting to happen right now. My yellow squash. My yellow squash was a star out here. It was even featured in a Grilling with Greg episode with all the squash that we picked off of it. But sadly, it's almost dead. Fortunately, this new rain has brought a little bit of life back to it. And you can see here, you got a little bit of new growth, got a leaf coming off of it. There's a squash right there, which is looking good. And I'm very pleased with that. I just can't believe it didn't die. Speaking of almost dying, my tomatoes. Boy, are they a sad sight. We'll start with the one that I'm most upset about. This one right here. One night I was out here and it fell over and I went to put it back up. And if you look down here at the bottom, this snapped. So this is the main support for the entire plant. And it's nearly broken. It's about 80% broke. But we still have a lot of tomatoes on here. But the downside is there's a lot of leaves that are dying off on this. So I don't think we're going to get much more after this. But we do have a couple ripe ones and things are looking okay. I just don't know what the future holds, and I think probably in the next update, this thing's probably going to be dead. Beside it here, this one's not doing too bad. This is probably the best tomato plant we have currently. Nice stem going up, no issues there. Got a couple tomatoes on it. I think Cody must have picked a couple off this because we had a couple bigger ones. And there's some new growth too, and you got these new tomatoes that are growing on here, so that is a good sign. Got some small ones in the back, so I'm thankful for this tomato plant. My Roma tomato plant is doing okay. Nice stem on that one as well. Got a lot of dead leaves all over on this, which I really don't like to see because it just kind of is it's a bad sign. A lot of that's from the dry weather we had. But the good news is we do have a lot of Roma tomatoes on there and a lot of smaller ones coming on, so we might be okay here. We got some green on here and there, but a lot of brown. And speaking of brown, this tomato plant, rest in peace. This thing is on death's doorstep. We do have a lot of tomatoes on it, but there's basically no leaves left. This is it. This is what's going on up here. So I think once this batch is done, this plant's going to be done as well. And then the last tomato plant, this is the one that I'm growing just for the chickens. Got a lot growing on this. The only thing that's working against this is just the sheer weight of the limbs of this, and it actually broke a little bit right there. So I wasn't too pleased with that, but there's not a whole lot you can do. This is the type of tomato that just wants to grow all over the place. I either need something that's like 12 feet tall that goes up to the top of the shed, or just to let it go out over something, because it just doesn't want to stay inside a cage like that. But that's what I'm learning in this kind of experiment that I'm doing. Learning what works and what doesn't work, and this year tomatoes really aren't working too well. So there you go, another garden update for you. Things kind of trending downhill as they have been in the last couple videos, but I'm going to keep making these videos because quitting is unacceptable. Nikki, you owe me for that one. And I will keep making these videos for you either until the garden's dead or the frost hits it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.